Hi, Jesus and Christina. I hope you guys are doing good. So this is our Wednesday class for Cambridge Proficiency. Yeah, so we're just going to kind of pick up where we left off. In the last class, what do you remember that we were talking about? We were talking about crimes, different names for crimes. Can you remember any of those? Without looking at your notebook, could you think of a couple of the crimes that we were talking about in the last class and write them in your notebook? So what we're going to do today is we're going to learn some new verbs related to different crimes. So you are going to need to pause this video after I show you what is on the board. Okay, I have in blue at the top 13 different verbs, but these are phrasal verbs. So you have the prepositions in red underneath, and you need to match the verb to its correct preposition to make a phrasal verb. Okay, so I'm going to show you the board. You need to have a look and match the verbs to their correct preposition to form phrasal verbs. If you're completely confused, you can always email me about any of them, or also you can look in the dictionary or on your phone. Okay, so here they are. Have a look. I think you can see that pretty well. Some of the prepositions have like a little times sign next to them. So like of times 4. So there's 4 times when you need to use of, and there's 2 times when you need to use for. Okay, so pause the video now and match these verbs to their correct preposition to form phrasal verbs. Okay, so I assume that you've stopped the video and you've done this now. So we're going to go over the answers and I'm going to explain what they mean. All right, so let me get a black marker. Okay, so let's start with the verb. Okay, let's just start with accuse, okay? So accuse goes with of. Now you can't really see that, can you? How can I do this? Okay, maybe like this. Accuse. No, that doesn't work either. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so accuse goes with of. It's one of the options. Accuse someone of something or accuse someone of doing something. For example, the thief was accused of robbing the bank, or the police accused the thief of taking an old lady's bag, for example. Okay, so accuse someone of something or of doing something. Okay, release, the next one, release, is with on. So where's on? I can't read upside down very well. So here we go. Release on. You can release someone from jail on the terms that they have good behavior in public. A really common phrase is to release someone on bail. I don't know if you've ever seen that word before, but bail, I'm just going to write it here quickly for you, B-A-I-L, is when someone pays for another person to get out of jail, for example. Okay, so release on. The next one is acquit. So acquit is also with of. Okay, it goes here with of. Acquit someone of something. To acquit someone is to declare them not guilty of a crime. So let me think. Sorry, my throat hurts. I've been talking all day. Who has recently been in a crime? Okay, well, Harvey Weinstein, for example. I'm sure you've heard of them. Actually, I'm not sure, you might not have. But he was a huge TV and a movie director. And he was convicted of some horrible crimes. And during his trial, he was found to be guilty. So he was not acquitted, because if he's acquitted, it means he's not guilty. So acquit goes with of. Okay. The next one is charge. Okay, so charge goes with. Okay, charge, can you see this? Is here with. You can charge someone with a crime. Like the bank robber was charged with robbery, or if someone burns down a building, they're charged with arson. Okay, so have a look at the next one here. Arrest. So arrest goes with for. I do know these, I'm just double checking. Okay, arrest someone for something. Hello, Luca. Okay, so if you arrest someone, sweetie, can you go in the kitchen? So if you arrest someone for something, you take them to jail. So, for example, the bank robber could be arrested for robbing the bank. Okay. The next one is appear. So appear can be, let's see, appear before or in front of. Can you see this? Yes. Appear before or in front of. So the criminal appeared before the court or in front of the court. Crack. I think we did this in the last classes. Crack down on. So this is a phrasal verb that's got two particles. The police in certain cities need to crack down on crime. They need to eliminate it, get rid of it, reduce it, find it and stop it. Okay, lodge. Lodge goes with against. Okay, lodge is with against. So, for example, you can, let me see, you can lodge a complaint against someone. Lodge just means basically like file a complaint or something like that. Okay. The next one is find. Find goes with of. Okay. Let's see. It goes here. Okay. I'll be there in a minute. Okay. Find goes with of. Okay. Of is here. So if a criminal is found guilty of a crime, it means that, you know what that means. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted right now. Yes, if so, you just say that they are found guilty of something. That's the phrase. That's the phrase. That's the preposition. Okay. Sentence. Sentence goes with to. It goes right here. You can sentence a criminal to 5 years in jail or 20 years or something like that. Okay. The next one is defraud. So defraud goes with, let me just double check, of. Okay, so again at the bottom here. Defraud means to deprive someone of a right, of money or property by fraud. So remember we were talking about just the word fraud? That's the noun. Defraud is the action that someone does when they commit fraud. Okay, ban. I think this is also of. Let me just double check that I'm right. No, it's for. Sorry. Ooh, my bad. Okay. Ban for doing something. Like maybe there was something I remembered. Yeah. Okay. So when athletes take performance enhancing drugs to do better, like steroids or whatever type of thing they take, they can be banned from the sport for life, for example. Okay, and the last one, I think the last one, yeah, remand, which means to send someone back into custody. Remand goes with in. Okay, remand in. So you can remand, I don't know, a criminal into custody again. Send them back into custody. So, you know, maybe they're in custody before they have their trial or some type of pre-trial, and then while they're waiting for the results, they go back into custody. Okay, so these are the answers. I know that that's not very clear, but I hope my explanation was clear and you saw it when I was writing it. Okay, so what I'd like you guys to do now is go in your books to page number 84. So on page 84, you guys have got number 9, where you have all of those different verbs, okay? And you need to complete number 9, A through J, with the correct verb tense of these verbs, the correct verb, and the correct preposition in the correct sentence, okay? And when you are finished, let me know. So can you pause this video now and do it, and then we'll read out the answers, okay? So now I assume that you have paused the video, and we are going to go over the answers together. So letter A says, 4 men have been charged with smuggling and will appear before or in front of a magistrate tomorrow. B says, the 58-year-old man accused of blackmail has been released on bail. So that means someone's paid for him to get out of jail. C, the gangster was found guilty of money laundering. D, the computer hacker was sentenced to 10 years behind bars. E, after several motoring offenses, Paul was banned for driving for 2 years. F, 2 teenagers have been remanded in custody in connection with the recent spate of burglaries. Recent spate can be like a recent series of events, or like increase or existence of something. Okay, let's see. G, the defendants said they will lodge an appeal against the court's decision, which ordered them to pay $5 million in fines. So lodge an appeal is like provide a counterattack, not counterattack, like just, appeal against something is just when you say, hey, I don't think that's fair, and you want them to have a different result or a different outcome. Okay? What about H? H says, a man was arrested late last night for being in possession of an illegal firearm with intent to commit robbery. I, she was relieved when the jury acquitted her of attempting to defraud the bank of $10,000. And J, the police are cracking down on antisocial behavior to curb the rising number of street gangs. So curb in the sense means to control, maybe to reduce, to stop the increase of something. All right. So in the next part, on page 84, you have number 10, which is reading and use of English part 4. You have to look at the original sentence, look at the word in bold, and complete the second sentence so it has the same meaning as the first. Okay? Here you can use between 3 and 8 words, and I'm going to give you time to do that now. So pause the video now, complete that, and when you're finished, I'll show you the answers, okay? So I assume that you've finished now. So I'm going to show you the answers for page 84, number 10, which are the following. Can you see this? You can also pause it on the screen so that you can write it down and check it. Okay, so you can pause it now and have a look, and I'm going to take it down and we'll continue in the book. Okay, guys. So have a look now at page 85 where it says listening. So we'll see how this goes. I hope the quality is good. Do you guys have any idea what forensic science is? Have a look at number 2. Explain in your own words what forensic science means. So forensic always deals with the study of things related to crime. Forensic science, these are like types of tests that the police and detectives and investigators carry out when they're trying to discover more information about crimes. Okay, so you have in your exam practice number 3, you will hear an interview with Dr. Lafford, a leading expert in the field of forensic science. For questions 1 to 5, choose the answer A, B, C, or D, which fits best according to what you hear. So can you please take a minute to look through only the questions 1 through 5 and underline words that you think are important. Okay, so you can pause the video to do that. when you're finished underlining words that you think are important, then you can look at the answers. So pause for a couple of seconds, or maybe you need more time, like 45 seconds, to look at the answers, okay? If you have any questions about what the words mean, just right now, don't look them up. Try to do this without looking up words to see how well you do, okay? And then, of course, afterwards, you can look them up. So I'm going to put the listening on, and it's number 6, I think. So bear with me. I'm going to see if that works. Is it plugged in? No, it's not even plugged in. That would be a very good start. So give me 1 second while I plug it in. And then we'll start. So yeah, maybe even during this time, you can just read through the answers. Okay. So let's see. Number 6. Starting. Okay, here we go. Okay, so hopefully the volume is loud enough. I'll try to control
Page 85, exercise 3. You will hear an interview with Dr. Lafford, a leading expert in the field of forensic science. For questions 1 to 5, choose the answer A, B, C, or D, which fits best according to what you hear. Today in the studio we have Dr. Lafford from the Forensic Science Service, who is here to tell us a little more about forensic science.
Good morning.
Now, I think most people have a fairly good general picture of the kind of work you do. In many ways, it's a development of Sherlock Holmes and his magnifying glass, isn't it?
Yes, you could put it that way, although we've come a long way since then, of course. But Holmes was very much a detective of the modern age. Of course, he was an intelligent man, and his medical knowledge often seemed better than that of his companion, Dr. Watson, and certainly his observations were always very detailed. But what sets him apart is that Holmes provides us with a good model, a very good model, in fact, of the kind of approach, psychological approach, that a forensic scientist should have. And that is that the forensic scientist is absolutely impartial.
So you're not, strictly speaking, part of the police force?
No, we are quite separate.
Could you tell us a little about your work and what it is you do?
Well, the basic principle behind forensic science is that every contact leaves a trace. Wherever we go, whatever we touch, material is transferred both ways. The shoe that leaves a mark on the ground also picks up traces of dirt, and a hand that makes a fingerprint also carries away particles from the object that was handled. And things like hair or carpet fibers are easily passed from one person to another.
I see. So it's not just that the suspect leaves clues at the scene of the crime. The scene of the crime leaves clues on the suspect.
Absolutely. And that is normally the most compelling evidence. Not just when you have a fingerprint, for example, but also where you found traces of, say, the carpet at the scene of a crime on the suspect's clothing. And that, of course, can be very hard to explain away.
Is your work fairly straightforward? A question of seeing whether various samples match up?
No, not at all. Forensic science is often a very painstaking task and very time-consuming, much more so than previously, in fact, because the range of tests has mushroomed. For example, we might be given some pieces of a headlight swept up after a hit-and-run accident and asked to identify the car. So we would fit the thousands of pieces together like a vast jigsaw and might be able to identify the number embossed on the back of the glass. That would help us identify the model of the car, the make, the age, and so on, making it easier to search for the suspect. And then once the car was located, we could tell whether the lights had been on at the time of the accident by examining the light bulb, because there would be minute pieces of molten glass on the metal filament in the bulb.
So you need some fairly sophisticated equipment, as well as patience.
Indeed. Now, the electron microscope is invaluable in our line of work, and it basically does two things. It gives us a fantastically detailed image. So, for example, you can tell whether a piece of hair has been broken or cut with a pair of scissors or a knife. And it can also give you the chemical composition of a sample, so that you can take perhaps a tiny flake of paint on a suspect's clothing and match it with paint at the scene of the crime.
Are you at the stage then where you could say that the evidence that you provide is foolproof?
No, not foolproof. There is always room for human error, and there's nothing that can be done about that. Forensics is not an absolute science. I mean, let me give you an example. Now, Sherlock Holmes might have found a strand of hair at the scene of a crime, perhaps black and 2 inches long, that would have helped him identify the murderer on the basis that the hair matched the murderer's. Now, we also examine hair, but in the example I gave you, perhaps one person in 20 has black hair 2 inches long. So we need to improve on this analysis to narrow down the number of suspects. So we would analyze the strand of hair using the electron microscope, as I was saying earlier, look at its chemical composition, whether it came from a man or a woman, see how it was cut, whether it showed any traces of particular chemicals and so on. And in that way, instead of saying that one person in 20 had hair like that, it might be one person in 500,000 or a million. That would be just about as far as we could go. Now, there's no such thing as certainty, just a balance of probability, even with the most advanced techniques of genetic fingerprinting. The evidence we provide is there to be interpreted, and that's very important.
Well, Dr. Lafford, thank you very much. We'll take a break now, but stay with us and we'll be back with an expert in the science.
Okay, so could you guys go back to the beginning of that and listen to that one more time? Okay, and once you've done that, then we'll go over the answers. So go back to the video now at the beginning of the listening and listen to that one more time. Okay, so I'm going to give you the answers now. Number 1 is B. Number 2 is A. 3 is A. 4 is C. And 5 is D. If you have any questions about this, can you please write to me on my email, or if you have my phone number, you can write on WhatsApp. Okay? So guys, the last thing we're going to do, and this is homework that I'd really, really like you to send to me so I can correct it, to my email, which is on the website. So go to our school's website. Is on page 85 under the listening, you have something called vocabulary. So could you guys please do numbers 4 and 5 in your notebook, or you can either do it in your notebook or on a Word document and send it to me. Okay, thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye.